So inside this box, we have something really random that I'm going to unbox that might be a complete shock to you. As you may or may not know, if you lurk the channel deeply, you'll see that I enjoy props and building models and things like that. So I have a new prop model that I'm going to be working on, and it is a Gemmy animatronic. This is the Zultan. It's like a mini Swami talking fortune teller machine, and it's animatronic. So we're gonna open it up. I got it on Mercari, and that was kind of like a shit show, but it got here and it was pretty cheap, relatively speaking. And by the looks of it, a lot of people collect these things, or maybe a small group of very specific collectors collect these things, and they're kind of hard to find. This one seemed to have a rating of working condition with some slight hiccups, so I'm expecting to have to open it up at some point and repair the animatronics. I'm also planning on modifying this heavily to put into a full-size fortune teller machine sort of base, but this is what it looks like. There it is, the Zultan. And just from the box alone, it seems to be in pretty good condition. So open it up. Again, a very random video, but I have to share this stuff on here so everyone has a reference to have in the future if they also are interested in collecting this stuff. I don't really care about keeping stuff consistent on the channel. It's really just a resource for others, and sometimes for fun mountain biking and storytelling. So here's the Zultan. This is made by Gemmy, and apparently all the sides should be the same except for the back, which is true. And I'm not a box collector by any means, but this one looks to be in all right condition. The listing or seller had a little bit of information about it being in the attic for a couple of months, which is weird because this is a very old product. Relatively speaking, it's from like 2008, I think, was the last run of these. So I don't know why it was just in the attic for a couple of months, but maybe it was actually a couple of years. Whew. All right. It smells like an antique shop, that's for sure. And I could actually see the side profile of the Zultan. This thing is freaking creepy. Looks to have all of the original contents up on the top as far as the adapters go, and apparently you could talk into this thing and make it say whatever you want. Kind of really crazy what you could get for Halloween props. They don't make them like this anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and lower this a bit so you could see down into it. You can just see them peeping out the window there. And these curtains are apparently the hardest part to have functioning in all of this because of the servo in it. It seems to fail or be too powerful for the plastic gears inside. But it seems to be an original packaging and not too altered at all. Really hate that it's in this styrofoam. Trying to get it out of there. Bear with me. So I put it up on the couch, and you can kind of see through this plexiglass or acrylic that there is a person in there. Let's see. Pretty spooky looking. This one was about $50 on Mercari, and even if it doesn't work, I could still use all of the costume and props to make my own sort of fortune teller. So that's kind of where I was at with it, and yeah, very a lot bigger than I thought, and I hear that quite a bit from people reviewing or covering this thing, but a lot of room for improvement on weathering it and creating something that looks very authentic, which is my goal here. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and plug it in and see what happens, because yeah, I could already tell that there's something going on with this curtain here. And personally, I might do a hack and just take the curtains out, because if I have this displayed, I would really prefer to see the fortune teller without the curtains being closed, which they're supposed to be closed right now, but something's going on with the actual arms. Maybe they were tampered with, or maybe it just happened in shipping, but let's try it out and see what happens. Okay, so I got the adapter and I'm plugging it in right now, and we'll know if anything's funky if I plug it in and it explodes.
I am awakened. You seek the wisdom of the all-seeing Zultan. A word of advice. You are troubled by a decision that you must make. Take the chance, or you shall regret it for all of your days. The crystal goes dark. Long live Zultan.
So that
Another seeks the power of the all-seeing Zultan. I look into your future and see. Your fears were correct. Take precautions. You know of what I speak. The crystal again darkens, and the great Zultan rests. The greatness of the all-seeing Zultan. Once again, the all-seeing Zultan must consult.
All right, so there you go. Sorry for the funky lighting, but I'll be sure to cover this thing in detail on the channel whenever I dig into it and try to create something new out of it. Yeah, it seems like all of the functionality is there, with the exception of the animatronics, which I kind of knew that there would be some issues. Pretty sure his head is supposed to kind of gyrate a little bit more, but it looks like his eyes are working, which is sometimes a concern. And the curtains obviously aren't working, so I'll have to break into it and see what I can do. Aside from that, pretty happy about it. It's a very cool looking prop that you could display without it working at all, and it'll still be interesting, but has a lot of room for improvement. So yeah, just stay tuned for some more updates on it. And I'm not sure if I'm even going to keep the casing. My long-term sort of goal in all this is to prototype a new style animatronic or machine that you can mount on the wall that's a little bit smaller than this, and probably sell them on online somewhere. And yeah, this is kind of like my starting point to just dig into all of the inner fixings of these devices. So yeah, I'll see you on the next episode of this Zultan machine.